Hi, I'm Cheryl, and today's card is this one right here. And then I have the inside decorated a little bit. But mainly, what I want to talk to you about today is choices. We all have choices to make in life and in card making. Luckily, card making doesn't have our choices doesn't make dire consequences like some of the choices we can make in life. But I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna talk about choices. So first off, we're going to be using from Daisy Lane. We're going to use this nice fern. That's a beautiful fern, and the daisy stamp, and then that you can also get the small daisy punch. Now there was another daisy set, and you could get the large punch as part of that bundle. So I have the large punch also, which you can use. We have the large daisy with the small daisy. We're not going to be using the large one today. I just wanted to show you that there is a large punch available to go with the large daisy on this. So we're going to be using this one and this one today, and the small daisy punch. And from the Woven Heirlooms bundle, I got the bundle on that because it's just so wonderful. We have you get the stamp set, which we aren't using today, but we are going to use. You get embossing folders. You get one for the rectangular shape we're using, and then you also get one for an oval frame, and the cutting dies for both of them, both the rectangular one and the oval one. We're using the rectangular one today, and I've already cut out the rectangular shape, so I'm going to put that just right here with this embossing folder, and we'll get back to that later. Okay, the papers we're going to use. I'm using the heavyweight Whisper White, the Whisper White Thick, it's called, cardstock for the base, and that's 6 by 9.5. Yeah, it's an odd size card. So it's going to be 6 inches. We're going to score and fold it at 4 3/4, and it's going to make, so it's making a 6 by 4 3/4 inch card. Now you can put that in a 5 by 7 envelope if you want, or if you know how to do it and are set up to make your own envelopes, you can make one to the exact size to fit, or make it just a little bigger. Okay, we need a piece of the soft seafoam cardstock. This is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. For the inside piece, we have a piece here. It's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And then for our little inset here inside our frame, I have a piece here that's 2 1/2 by 3 1/2. I have some seafoam around here to stamp our leaves on too, and here it is. Here we go. So I have some more of the Whisper White Thick here, just a cut off piece that I had. We're going to be using that for the daisies. So we're going to stamp and punch out 3 of those and layer them up for the flower. And then I have this piece of the soft seafoam, and that's going to be used for the leaves. I'll stamp, and those get fussy cut. They didn't give us a die for that, so we have to fussy cut it. I'm also using from the Very Versailles stamp set. We have a beautiful day. That's going to be our stamp on the front. We'll stamp that with the Tuxedo Black Memento ink. Okay, and then we have just a I don't know, like a shabby chic kind of script. And it doesn't matter if you stamp it this way or stamp it this way, because there are no actual words in there. It's just the look of the script. And I also have some rather thick craft foam or fun foam that I'm going to be using to pop things up. If you don't have this and don't want to get this, you could double up on the foam dots. You could double up on thinner craft foam. You could even use some cardboard from, you know, the thicker box cardboard, because you're not going to see it. So any of those things will work. I have the craft foam. I'm going to use it. Okay, and now we have glitter. Okay. So this will be my first talk about choices. I was on a hunt for the perfect glitter. I wanted a clear, sparkly glitter with no color in it. And I hunted and hunted, and I ended up buying like all these kind of things, trying to find the perfect no color glitter. And I finally found it. It's Spectra glitter, and there's absolutely no color at all in there. It's not a very fine glitter, and it's not real chunky either. It's kind of a medium glitter, so it's nice for a lot of projects. I haven't found like an ultra fine one yet, but I'm still looking. But these are all the things that I found. Now, I'm not sure who I got this from. It didn't come in this little jar. It came in a little baggie. This is like very, very thick, chunky glitter. Makes wonderful snow on winter cards or Christmas cards. But it has, you can see, it's got a whole rainbow of colors in there. I got this. This came from Heartfelt Creations. This is the Rajni Chala's Crystal Clear Glitter. But again, it's got color in it. Can you see the colors? This was not bad though. It was not bad, but it does still have color in it. So I was still searching. So I got, let me just dump these out. So then I got from Heartfelt Creation, I got the ultra fine glitter, but there is color in this one too. Can you see the colors? So it's like it's an iridescent color on there. Then I got this glitter. This is an ultra fine glitter. This is by Darice, and it's called Snowfall. But if you look at, can you see that on the video? It's yellow. It's really not white at all. It's yellow, and it might have been nice. I could have used that on here because it would have gone nicely with the yellow color of the flower I'm using, and also on the leaves. But and I don't know why they call it Snowfall, because, well, you know what they say about yellow snow. And then I got this glitter also. This is another ultrafine, but there's lots of color in this. This is very similar to actually to the glitter I got from Heartfelt Creations, and this is the art glitter. This ultrafine. It's called Art Glitter. Barbara Tromley's Art Glitter, and it's crystal ultrafine. And this is very much like that. This is from the Glitter X Corporation. I'm not sure exactly where I found this either, but because I've been buying glitter everywhere. But this is, again, while it's pretty, it's got color in it. And then you can always go with the glue-like things. There's the Nouveau Glitter Drops. They too have some color in them. This is a Scrappy Cat Glitter Glue. This too is, well, it says it's iridescent with rainbow glitter. So yeah, it's got It's got rainbows in there. And also the Stardust Sticklers. That's also got color in it. And I found this at Michael's, and this was in the children's section. Do not pass up the children's section for things that you might want to have. Now it's got two different whites, and this is these are ultra fine here, and this one looks pretty good. I haven't even tried it yet, but this one looks pretty good for an ultra fine, but you can see it's just a tiny little bag of it. The second one down is another one of the white ones that's got all different colors in it. These are very pretty too. I used the black on a Halloween card last year, and it was just gorgeous. So don't pass by the children's section. Okay, so let's do some stamping. We're going to take our daisy stamp, and I'm using crushed curry for the stamp because I didn't want a real bright yellow daisy. I wanted a little muted color. So we need 3 of these. Okay, and now here's where we get choices. Now I'm going to color this in with my Stampin' Blends Light Daffodil Delight. Okay, there's other options. As a matter of fact, I'll color one in with this, and I'm just going to swipe, just do a quick swipe over those petals. I'm going to go out past it on the sides here because when you punch it out, it leaves a little border around the stamped part. Okay, so I'm using the Light Daffodil Delight Stampin' Blends. Now, you could also take a sponge dauber and your Daffodil Delight ink pad. Oops. Come on, slide back in there. And you could sponge it. You get it's a little bit different look. A little darker. And I think I'll use that one for the bottom. I'll do this one again with the Daffodil Delight, the light Daffodil Delight. You could color it in with any markers that you might have. You could avoid coloring it in at all and stamp it instead on a yellow cardstock. This is Pineapple Punch. You have a nice bright yellow flower. Or if you're not a fan of yellow, you could make it pink or blue or red or purple. You know, any of those colors will work. There's more choices for you. So keep that in mind. It doesn't have to be yellow. I just chose yellow for mine. And so let's get this here, and we'll, you know, you want to have the bottom of your punch facing up. And just line that up. Oh, I need to cut off a little bit there in the corner. I just can't quite get in there how I want to be. I'll probably have to cut these down a little bit too. Oh. And since our flower is symmetrical, there's no, you don't need to have it a certain way on your flower. Okay. That always scares me a little bit when it pops out. I know it's going to happen, but it still scares me. I need to cut that one away a little bit too. So then we'll have our flowers all ready. We're going to shape them a little bit. Oh, you know what? We need to color the inside, the middle of the flower in a little bit too. Alright. And the way I colored my flower center with for the demo card is I used these two colors, and it's going to sound a little odd, but Soft Suede and Blackberry Bliss. I know it sounds a little funny, but you'll see. And I took used the paint. I'm using the painterly type tip on here, and I'm going to just dot that whole center. And if you don't want to do this, you could skip this. You could just swipe this on and make it all brown, because we're going to put glitter over it anyway, so you can't, this really isn't showcased on your flower. The glitter kind of hides it. But then I took the Blackberry Bliss, and now that's going over yellow too, remember? So I'm going over that, and I'm doing a lot of the dots like just towards the outside of the daisy, and then I'm going to do a little circle of dots on the inside of the daisy. So you get kind of a look like this. Okay. Again, you can skip this step if you don't like it. Use any brown marker you prefer. Like I said, I use Soft Suede. I have that marker, but any brown will work, just so that your center is brown. If you're doing a yellow flower, is a black, makes it a black-eyed Susan. Okay, so we've got those done. Now I need to bring in, I didn't tell you about this. Okay, I need a ball stylus, and I need my flower shaping mat. So on these flowers, I'm just going to start at the outside of the petals and just pull in, pull in, pull in, pull in, pull in, pull in. And do that on all three. Alright, and the last one. Alright, now I'm going to turn these over. This is the one I did with the sponge dauber, and it's the darkest, so I'm going to put that on the bottom. I'm going to give just a little dab of this. This is the Art Glitter Designer Dries Clear adhesive. And let's see. Giving a little bit of a hard time there. Okay, there we go. Then I'm going to offset these just a little bit here. I'm going to take my stylus, and two things in one. I'm shaping the flower, cupping it up, and I'm also getting good contact with my glue by pressing down on it. Then I'm going to take my next one. This is the one that we've done the brown on. We want that one on top. And I'll put some glue there and offset these, this one again. I want lots of petals in there. And we'll just push that down with our ball stylus. And here's another choice for you. If you do not have a ball stylus, do not fret. I'll bet in your craft room you have a Sharpie marker. Use this end of the Sharpie or this end. This end actually for this particular flower would be better. And you just shape it with the Sharpie instead. Now I see that I'm starting to run out of time here, so I'm going to tell you, we'll put all these things aside for the moment, and I'm going to tell you about doing the embossing of this frame. You want to have the Stampin' Up! Logo facing up, and you want to have your shiny side of your paper facing up. This is silver foil paper, by the way. And then I hold it against this top part here, the top page of this, and get it lined up there. I'm going to hold it down the bottom here, close this down, and then grab it with my other hand, and that keeps this in place. I'm going to carry it just like this over to my embossing machine. Now on my embossing machine, I had to fool around a little bit with different sandwiches to make this, and I found that I have a big shot. If I flip open my top, the top sheet, and then I use the hard what do you call it? The hard can't think of the name of it. You know, your cutting plates. Okay, there's a hard plate that comes with the an embossing set, and it's got a rubber mat, it's got a hard plate. I put that in there and use that with a shim. But what I'm getting at is you're going to have to just play around with your machine to find out the best sandwich for doing this and this, because it's kind of an odd size. It's not quite like the 3D, but it's not just a regular embossing folder either. So I think Stampin' Up! has changed who they get their products, have their things made by lately, and it's just a little bit different. So just play around with it. You'll figure out a sandwich. Use shims and plates and things, and you'll be fine. So I'm going to go and do this, and I'll be right back then. Okay, so this is all embossed now, and I brought the sandwich over so I can show you exactly what I was talking about. So I have my Sizzix platform, and incidentally, talk about choices. I chose to get one that had an extended multi-purpose platform because I envisioned myself doing a whole bunch of dies all at one time. Well, that doesn't happen. I very seldom fill the whole thing. As a matter of fact, I do most of my die, just plain die cutting, on my magnetic platform. But this is how I set it up. Open that first one up to number 1. So number 1 is here. And then I see here that they have, in the instructions actually, they have the impressions plate and then this silicone rubber, and they sell these separately. But in order to use these for, I use them for making impressions with dies themselves. So in order, you have to buy them separately. I don't know why. They should be a set, but they sell them separately. So you get a silicone rubber mat, and then you have to buy the impressions plate separate. So I use the impressions plate, my embossing folder with the paper in it, and then I use a very thin cardboard shim. This is like you know, like the paper you might get on a cereal box or something. I use that. That was my sandwich I used on my big shot. So I hope that explains it a little better than my stumbling around before, because I just couldn't think of the names of the products that I used. Okay, so let's do some leaves now. And we'll do the ones that get fussy cut out first here. And I will use I'm going to use my soft sea foam on soft sea. Oh no, I'm not. Oh no, I'm not. I'm using Pear Pizzazz on soft sea foam paper. So let me stamp one leaf here. And then I want one of my leaves to go the other way. So I need to reverse it. They didn't give me a reverse image of this in my set. And if you follow my videos, you probably know I use a silicone mat on my craft table. When I had one on here before, it was a baker's mat. It was pink. It had things for rolling out pie dough and all kinds of stuff on there. But this time I got a, it's very nice. It's a clear silicone mat. It's an extra large multi-use one. It came as a set of 2. I got it on Amazon. And if I remember, I'll put the link to it over in my blog. But that is what I use to protect my surface, and just everything in the world comes off of this mat. It's just wonderful. Keeps everything nice and clean and neat looking. And it covers a nice big area on my table. It's very big. I don't know how big exactly it is, I forget. But, so I'm going to ink up my stamp again. I'm going to stamp it right on my table. Well, on my mat, on my silicone mat. And there's my image. I'm going to take my paper, lay it down over there, and being careful not to move my paper, I'm going to rub it down real well. And wait till you see. There we go. I have a reverse image now. It's not quite as dark as this one, but it works just fine. Okay. So here's another time when choices come in handy. Now if you want, you can enhance your ferns a little bit more. You can use some pencils on them, or maybe some markers, or whatever you like to color with. You could color these in and pop them up a little bit more. But now these two will get fussy cut out, and I want to show you. I'm not gonna make you watch me fussy cut them. I start out with my larger scissors, and I just cut away as much of this excess paper as I feel comfortable with cutting away before I fussy cut. This really is very helpful. It makes it less cumbersome and bulky, and as you're cutting, these little thinner pieces come, fold away much easier than a big old chunk of paper. So when you fussy cut, I'm using a tiny little sharp pair of scissors. You're going to want to turn your paper. You see how I'm turning the paper as I'm cutting? And that is going to be most helpful to you also. And you just keep turning the paper and cutting. Now I'm gonna go off camera in a bit, and I'm gonna finish cutting these out. But I just wanted to give you that little fussy cutting tip, or those two little tips. Okay, so let me put these aside, and I'll do those off camera. If I could figure out how to speed things up, I could do a speeded up version of that. Just fussy cut it out and speed it up and be done with it. This is the little piece that's going to go in the center here. That does get stamped in the soft saffron. This piece is the border, and I've added leaves in the background here. See, there's some up here, there's one comes out this way, there's a little one right here that you can hardly see, but it is there. And I'm going to do those next, because I already have the Pear Pizzazz ink on my stamp pad here. And I have this written in the center, but don't worry about that. That's going to get covered up. So, and stamp this one that goes way off the side here. Stamp this one down here in the corner. And then I have a couple that come out up here. And out the side. And let's see. I didn't have one come up this way, but you know what? I think I'll have one come up this side this time. I just feel like having that extra leaf there. Okay, so we've got that stamped. I need to clean this off. I need to clean this a bit too. So, just get some of my spray stuff on here. In my spray bottle, all I have is, I have this great big spray bottle here. It used to have Method lawn cleaner in it, which, by the way, I like a lot. But I fill this bottle up and I put just a few drops of Castile soap in it and a few drops of glycerin to keep my stamps nice. And that's what's in this bottle. And that's my cleaner I use. Good, bad, or indifferent, that's what I use. Okay, so now I need my stamp here too. In the soft sea foam, because we want this very delicate and light, and it's a nice delicate color. I'm going to stamp my print on here. Okay, and like I said before, it doesn't matter which way you have it go. I'll stamp up my fern. I'm going to have my fern come up here. Not quite in the middle, to the middle. We want it kind of off the side. We want to offset a little bit. Okay, and then let's see. Where's our paper for the inside? Let's do that too. There's my paper for the inside, and I used the soft sea foam on that also. So I'll just ink that up, put my script in there like that, and maybe a little over here, and a little bit up in the corner. Okay, just to make it interesting. And we have 3. If you've seen that car commercial, you know things are better in 3s. And then down the corner here, I also have the fern stamped. And there's still plenty of room here for sentiment and to sign it. So we're good there. And that's the center, the inside of our card. That will go, let's put that in there right now so I don't lose it. And I'm using a repositionable tape. The Darius company makes that. I'm just putting little bits of it on here just to hold it in my card. And then when I have a reason to use my card, then I'll put an appropriate sentiment on my on the inside here. I can just peel that off like that. stamp it and then permanently adhere it to the card when I'm ready to give it. And I don't know why I tried to line that up so nice, because it really doesn't matter. Okay. So there's only one more stamping I think we need to do. And that is with our Memento Tuxedo Black. And I'll use the Have a Beautiful Day stamp. Stamp that right there. There. I usually would do this in my Stamparatus, but I was feeling bold today and brave and didn't do it there. So we're going to glue that down. Let's see. Let's start gluing pieces in place here. I'm going to use my Tombow glue for this because I may need to move this around a little bit. Yeah, a big glob of it came out there. I don't want to touch this with my finger though, because I know from experience that when I get Tombow glue on my fingers stay sticky. I don't want my fingers sticky. Okay, let's see. That looks like it's lined up pretty good. Then we're going to glue this piece up. I don't know why I'm getting big old bloops on there. Okay. Then this piece is going to get lined up. We want the top and the sides to be even. And it's going to be a little bigger down at the bottom. So we're going to put that there just like that. You see this area is much bigger than either of the sides or the top. Okay, so that's ready. And then let's put the frame on too. This is where our strips come in. We're going to cut out strips of that thick foam. And I'm going to use the Art Glitter Dries Clear glue for this. So we can cut our strips. Just like so. And you see I didn't take any great care to make them beautiful. Oh, one of them fell on the floor. Get that strip. I didn't take any great care making them beautiful because it's not going to be seen anyway. And let's trim that down just a little. Yeah, that will go there. And this one will go up here. I can trim that down a little bit too. Alright. Now it's getting exciting. So, get some of that glue on my strips here. Glue them down. Once I get this part glued, I'm going to cut out and I'm going to finish fussy cutting those leaves. And that will give this glue, you know, a couple minutes to get set up. So let me do that one. You always want this just a little bit smaller than whatever object you're popping up, because we don't want to see this on the outside when we're looking down at our card, or if we look at it from the side. We really don't want to see this. Oop. I got some of that glue on my fingers. Luckily this wasn't Tombow. I'd have this, my thumb would be sticky. Okay, so let's move that over. There we go. There. So off I go to fussy cut my leaves, and then we'll come back and finish this up.